everyone, it's Frankie-Lou. I'm coming to you today from the kitchen of the Gather Homestead, where I'm going to reuse something that a lot of people toss out. And it would be a real shame to throw this stuff out, because if you're like me and you work really hard at creating something good in the first place, when you can reuse it again to make yet another delicious thing, that's a total bonus, right? Today I'm talking about pickle juice. So it would be a shame to get rid of all of this deliciousness once I've eaten the pickles inside of them. And so I'm going to show you today a few of the ways that I reuse this deliciousness. First off, one of the most simple, easiest, no-brain ways to use it is for another pickle. Now, I would not suggest using pickling juice to pickle something more than once, because what does happen is, because it is a brine, it does drain some of the fluids out of the vegetables that you're pickling them in, and that's diluting it, okay? So that being said, I also don't make pickles that I'm canning for shelf preservation. What I use my dill pickle juice for the second time around in is refrigerator pickles. So stuff that I'm going to keep in the fridge and use within a couple of months. Not something that I'm going to water bath process and put on the shelves for a year's storage. Some of my favorite things to make refrigerated pickles out of are things that I want to keep crunchy and that I just want to use in beverages or in salads. Things that I maybe wouldn't normally water bath pickle because it would possibly make them soggy. One of my favorite things to refrigerate pickle is snap peas. Snap peas and snow peas don't normally do so well when you go to can them under a water bath process because they get soggy, but they're quite delicious as a refrigerator pickle. Another favorite one is green beans, because I like those to be crunchy. Now, if you wanted to make them softer for your refrigerated pickles, just blanch them first. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to drain out the fluid and reheat this brine. And I'm going to take out all the solids. I will reuse some of these solids, okay, in the jars of the stuff that I am refrigerated pickling. If you want to see why I want to preserve some of this, do check out my crunchy dill pickle recipe, because there's a lot of care and love that goes into this, so it is nice to use it again, and it's a super, super flavorful brine. So I have my solids here. Just gonna let them drain a little bit more here while I heat the brine back up on the stove and process the pickles. I'm just gonna bring that brine to a boil and let it simmer for a bit while I get my jars ready for packing up. I've got some sterilized jars that I prepared here. I'm going to take some of these lovely things that were in the bottom of my pickle jars. Once again, this is short-term preservation we're looking at in a fridge. So when I'm canning something for the water bathing, I am really, really, really tight on making sure everything is super, super sterile. As this is something that's going in the fridge, and it's going to be used pretty quickly, I'm not going to be as fussy about it. I'm going to do a mixed pickle here of both green beans and peas, because I like to use both of those. One of my favorite ways to use the green beans is in cocktails. Now, I really enjoy Christmas cocktails, and we're coming up to the holiday season. My favorite cocktails at Christmas time are ones that I make with my rhubarb liqueur, which I've got a video for that if you want to check it out. But I also really enjoy Caesars, and I'm going to show you another thing you can do with the pickling liquor for your Caesars too. All right, so I have these all nicely packed up. Now I'm just going to do very simple, take the tops and tails off of these peas and these beans so that there's no woody parts. But I do like a crispy pickle, and that's what refrigerated pickles are really great for, because you're not doing that extensive hot water bathing. Although I do have a few tricks for getting crispy pickles even with a hot water bath, if you want to check that out in the earlier video on crunchy dill pickles. We'll just work away at this. I'll be back in a second. All right then, we have got our jars nicely packed up with delicious green veggies. I've made a mix here of green beans and snow peas, so those will be nice and crispy because I didn't pre-blanch them. I've had the brine boiling over on the stove here, so now I'm going to fill the jars. I just love the smell of all the pickling liquid as well. It brings back memories of summer too. It's one of the reasons I like doing these winter pickles, is it's like, oh, it reminds me of all my summer pickling with fresh produce from the garden. But you might as well make use of that stuff. It's good brine. Other uses for the brine. Those of you who follow me know that I'm a huge barbecuer, smoker, and pickling brine is a really good brine. It's a brine for, like, I'm going to do a pork shoulder this week. I'm going to put some of this leftover liquid in my pork shoulder brine before I smoke it up. Another really great way to use it is in sauces or salad dressings. If you think about what's in a salad dressing, okay, you got your vinegar, you've got your salts, you got your sugars, you got your spices. So pickling brine is pretty close. Just add a little oil and you've got yourself a nice salad dressing. Now those are some pretty conventional ways to reuse up your pickling liquid. But like I said, don't waste it. It's delicious. Now I'm going to show you something that might be a little different. You might think is a little off key, but it's actually really yummy. I'm going to just stir these up. I don't have to do all the fussiness of bubbling and stuff because I'm not going to process these. They're just going to let them come to room temperature. Pop them in the fridge. I would use them in a minimum of a week's time. You want to let them soak up all those flavors and let them do their thing. So maybe use them in about a week's time. And they'll keep for several months and be usable and yummy. Now this is one of the ways that I like to use pickling liquid though. I saved it for last. It's my favorite way actually. So I've saved the best for last. And that is in my cocktails. Like I said, I really enjoy having Caesars at Christmas time. And so what I've been doing this week is I've been taking some of this pickling liquid to use as an ice cube in my Caesars. All right, I'll show you. Okay, now stick with me here. I know this sounds a little crazy, but when you put an ice cube in your cocktail, it's going to dilute the flavor. But not these ice cubes. When you put these in your cocktails, it's going to amplify the flavor. So if you're looking at something you're going to sit for a long time, like if you're making a giant Caesar, and you know, sometimes we do that, this is one way to ensure that you're going to have a really yummy, flavorful Caesar or Bloody Mary right to the bottom of the glass. What we're adding here, you got my little ice cubes here, and these are really yummy in your Caesars, especially if you've got one of your nice beans that you've pickled as well. And I also like to make a bacon salt for the rim, so it's a pretty good Caesar. All right, I got those. I'm just gonna stick them in a nice freezer bag and make a few more batches so that when my guests come to visit for Christmas, I will have a whole bunch of these ready to go, all yummy and ready to go in their cocktail. Let's just do a quick recap here. Ways to reuse your pickling liquid, because trust me, you don't want to waste this stuff. It's delicious and perfect. A, reuse it as a refrigerator pickle. Make sure you do reboil that brine though to get it a little stronger again, and so that it'll better incorporate the flavor into the veggies that you're choosing. Good veggies to use for this sort of thing are nice thin ones: asparagus, green beans, peas, those sorts of things that you want to keep crispy. Then you can use it as a salad dressing. You can use it as a brine. It is a brine, so if you're smoking meat or roasting meat and you do a brine in advance, pickling liquid is great for that. And last of all, like I said, give it a try. I know it sounds crazy, but try making some pickle ice cubes for your Caesars. I swear you will not regret it. All right? I hope that was helpful. I hope that you'll subscribe if you want to see some more of the tips that I've got coming up. I've got a lot of things going on to prepare for Christmas, and so there's going to be a lot of videos coming out. And as always, I hope you'll take this chance to grow together today. Have a good one.